All right, here we go with a few hints on the hardware, the pin, etc., etc. So your pin should look like this, and then you're going to create another assembly, and you're going to put these rings in and mate them. We're just using fasten. So to insert, you go to standard content, retaining rings, external rings, and you only have one choice here. And then we're using just a little bit smaller than a 1/4 inch, 15/64. And you go insert, bring it in there, and etc. Put two of them in. Okay, so I already have mine in there. So let me just delete this one. Okay, so we want to line the surface up with this outside edge, not the inside edge, but the outside edge, so that we have some space here. This between this shoulder and this shoulder is exactly 1/2 inch, and that's how wide our piece is this goes through. So we have to have a wiggle room, a little space outside for this to go in. So we just can use a fasten mate, and we're going to do this outside surface to this outside edge. And it worked. Now, when I've done it in the past, sometimes it's raw. It's lined up to it's flipped. Sometimes it looks like this. So see, it's if you check mark it, it's going to be no good. So that's not what we want. I don't know why it's not lined up to the center, but that's curious. Okay, you can see it's on the wrong. It's flipped wrong here, so we go like that and it gets it back in there. So anyway, that's that. Once you have that assembly, then we want to get all that in here. So now we can go insert, and we can insert assemblies. And I'll bring all three parts in at once with their mates and everything. Okay, so I'm going to slide this into the hole. If I had a flat surface on, actually I might be able to. You might be able to fasten. I hate all these. This end. You can't fasten it to this because it's circular. But you might be able to do it to the inside of this, and then we have to offset it. Um, so let's try that. Now this is in the way, so I'm going to right click on it and hide it. Okay, so now I'm going to fasten this to this hole. Can I choose that hole? There, right there. And then I want to move it out. I think it's I have to go out past the ring. So it's 3/8 of an inch, I believe. We'll try it. 0.375. That looks good. And then I will turn this one back on. Let's see. Whoops. Right there. Okay, looks good. That was easier than how I did it earlier. It's always more than one way to skin a cat. So now, notice that I have a little gap here, and I have a little gap here. You know, it's so in real life, you need little bits of, you know, those are, it's like a 32nd of an inch, and there's hardly any at all. But it makes your life so much easier. Sometimes it's just possible. Okay, so the only thing we need nuts and bolts. I'll bring one nut in and one bolt. Machine screw. Okay, so it was go insert, standard content. Now we want screws. We want machine screws. That was the last thing I chose, so that was the default, and it was panhead. And it's you have all kind of choices here. We want a little less than 1/4 inch, which is this one. 28. We have two choices: 28 threads per inch, 24 threads per inch. We're choosing 28. You could choose 24, but then everything has to be 24. And this first one is an inch long. All the others are 3/4. So we'll just bring the 3/4 one in now. Oops, I should hit the green check mark. That was silly. Everything stayed the same, right? Yep. You actually need 3 of them. Well, while we're at it, let's bring the nuts in. Machine screw nuts, hex screw, 12/28. Then we're going to try something here. Green check mark under regex. Copy it. Control V, Control V, Control V. So that's easier, especially if you need 10 or 12 or 100 than dragging them in one at a time. Okay, then you have to go out and get a 1-inch bolt too. All right, so this is really not. I think we can use, if I remember, I just use a fasten. I'm going to fasten into on this outer edge to did it, but it's backwards. So let's see if this turns it around. Yep, there it is. And then we need to put a nut on that. right. Oh, and that's backwards too, huh? There we go. And there you go. You got to do that 3 more times. When you're all finished, you have to limit one of these joints. I don't want to be able to go all the way around. That's not how it works in real life. You come down to about here somewhere. I mean, you actually can't go any farther than, can't run into this piece here, can it? And this way, just first of all, get rid of all these mate connectors. It goes this way. It's almost up to this lip here when it, so that's, again, we can't go. So this is about right there. It starts to go. So somewhere in here it should stop. I mean, anywhere between here and here. And then it can't go past right about there. One of my students suggested earlier today to do it, limit that joint, so that's maybe where I'd start. Okay, so that's what you have to do for tonight.